I'm back.
Today I want to talk about this idea from sociologist Max Weber called the disenchantment of the world. It's basically the idea that we replaced myths, spirits and mysteries with explanations, processes and systems. The world didn't get smaller, it just got clearer, more legible. But in that clarity we lost something. Not religion or belief, but something cooler. I think we lost our legends. And maybe it's worth starting this video by describing exactly what a legend is. According to the dictionary, a legend is a traditional story, sometimes popularly regarded as historical but unauthenticated. It's basically a story that lives somewhere between the truth and a collective imagination. We use the word legend now like a compliment, like someone who's impressive or someone who's untouchable, like Mr. Legend UK.
Easy TikTokers, it's the legend, the icon, the boss, the heroes. Just to let you know, shout-outs are now available.
Along the way, the word stopped meaning mythic and started meaning mildly impressive online. But a legend doesn't have to be good, it doesn't even have to be desirable. It just has to be bigger than its facts. A legend is what happens when a story is too large to be pinned down, something that lives in the space between what we know and what we can't explain. And for most of history, legends came in all sorts of shapes. There are place legends, like the well that you wouldn't go near it because a ghost lives in it, the road where accidents would always happen, and the forest that no one would go into. These weren't proven stories, they were just felt truths. A place with enough stories around it that it becomes haunted. And then there's creature legends like lake monsters and wives' tales, things that you see in the dark. The stories weren't consistent or scientific, but they lasted so long that they held their own. They reminded us that the world was still wild, that there were still things that we didn't know. And then there's human legends like outlaws and explorers, people who were already turning into stories while they were still alive. Billy the Kid and Bonnie and Clyde and Robert Johnson, the blues guitarist who according to myth sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads to get good at guitar. And these weren't all moral tales. Legends don't have to be good or bad. They're about a moment where a person becomes more of an idea than an individual. Every town has their own legends, like the guy who's always at the bar, the person with 5 different backstories, the local figure that everyone's heard of but no one really knows. Every community has one at different scales but the same structure. What really makes a legend work is that it's incomplete. You never really get the full story, just fragment. And when humans get fragments, we don't leave them alone. We fill in the blanks. It's not a flaw, it's a feature. A legend is what happens when incomplete information becomes stable. Not true, necessarily, but stable enough to feel real. But now everything that fuels a legend is easily explained away. The haunted well, you can go on Google Maps and see where it drains away. The forest that takes people. You can go online and see the weather patterns for the day and see that there was a storm. And the sea monster is just a whale. We used to have unsolved mysteries. Now we just have Reddit threads with the top comment that just says, actually. Even outlaws, we have their biographies and their letters and mugshots and even a Netflix documentary. These days, nothing stays vague enough to become large. The philosopher Walter Benjamin calls this the loss of aura. It's the loss of distance, it's the loss of that slight unreal shimmer that you get from something unexplained. And things need that distance to become a legend. It needs contradictions and second-hand accounts, things that don't quite line up. But modern life destroys that automatically. And it's not just folklore, it's us. We live in a world where everyone is archived, searchable, and endlessly documented. The moment that a person's entire life can be scrolled through is the moment that they stop becoming mythic. You can't be larger than life if your whole life fits within a feed. Even Bigfoot has an online presence now, posting KFC reviews and forest vlogs for 146,000 people. We can't even leave the old legends up to imagination, we need to know about their daily life now too. And that overexposure changes the way that we see people. Back in the day you might hear about a famous person and speculate what they were like in real life. You would hear stories that a friend of a friend met the person and said that they were actually really nice or mean or shy. There was a lot of room for speculation. But now all of the modern celebrities have an online presence, so they have to perform niceness online constantly. But now because everyone has to perform niceness online, the surprise has flipped. It's rare to find out that someone is nicer than you thought they would be. and it's more common to find out that they're not.
I worked for the Ellen show for 3 years and I only have good things to say. She would let us out the office, she would unlock the doors and let us out for 15 minutes a week. We'd get sunlight and that was perfectly fine.
When every personality has been curated and constantly public, the legend doesn't have space to breathe. And that's why death still creates legends. Hendrix, Cobain and the 27 Club, death freezes the story. It stops the person from adding footnotes, and the story starts to compress and feel bigger. Not more accurate, just more symbolic, like saints, kings, and gods. Oppenheimer fits this pattern perfectly. The movie isn't just about an atomic bomb, it's the moment when power stopped becoming magical. After that, there were no wizards left, only technicians. No legends, only operators. The universe stopped being a story and became a mechanism. And that's the paradox of fame these days. Someone like IShowSpeed can be massively famous, but not necessarily a legend. Not because he isn't impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's because he's too visible. Too explained, his fame is algorithmic, not mythic. A 90-year-old doesn't know about IShowSpeed, but back in the day, a 13-year-old and a 90-year-old would both know about Elvis. That's the difference between online reach and symbolism. We didn't stop making people legends, we just shrunk them down. Every town still has them. In Brighton we have the bird whistle guy, and the tap dancing guy, and the guy that sits outside of Waitrose. They're not celebrities, but everyone knows them, and they've become stories. Everyone has a different story of who these people are. Some say they've just got out of jail, and other people say that they used to be rich. No one knows which story is actually true, and that's why it works. They all have one thing in common, which is that they don't explain their story to anyone. They don't have social media, and they don't live stream their entire lives. Barely anyone knows their real name, so they can't even search them up. They just exist as sightings, as people that you see every now and then. And because of that, they get something that modern fame doesn't allow for, which is narrative space. The room to grow larger than their details. The smallest possible version of a legend that can still work. Not because they're impressive, but because they're opaque. And that was Weber's warning, really. Every time you explain something completely, you don't just remove the error, you remove the excess, and the excess is where legends live. We didn't just lose legends by becoming clinical, we killed them by becoming precise. Because in a world where everything is documented, explained, and archived, there's no room left for anything to exist beyond its description. The legend didn't just fade, it died. But maybe it doesn't have to stay dead, because every so often, someone or something refuses to explain itself, refuses to be entirely seen, and in that refusal, the old mechanism starts to work again. The blanks reappear, the gaps reopen, and the story can start to grow again. You don't need to be magic to be a legend, you just need mystery, and mystery is something we can all choose to leave behind.